Hey, welcome to The Explainer. So, you've definitely heard of the Internet of Things, right? It's pretty much everywhere. But what if I told you it has an older, simpler ancestor called M2M, or machine to machine? Now, they get confused all the time, but getting the difference is absolutely crucial to understanding our connected world. Today, we're going to unravel that whole story and see what really sets them apart.
It all kicks off with this vision, which honestly sounds a little like magic. Just picture it. A world where your devices don't just wait for you to push a button, but they actually anticipate what you need. A world where the room you're in and the digital world are just one and the same. This is the promise that's been pushing technology forward for years.
All right, so here's the game plan. We'll start with that mind-reading world idea, then get to know the two techs making it happen, IoT and its predecessor, M2M. We'll look at the tech that powers them, put them head-to-head to see the real differences, help you figure out when you'd use each one, and finally, we'll take a little peek into what's next for our connected future.
And hey, this isn't some far-off sci-fi stuff. We're talking about real things happening right now. Think about being able to check in on your grandma's health from halfway across the country, getting an alert on your phone if something's off. Or, that feeling when you get to the office and realize you left the lights on, and you can just turn them off right from your desk. That's the real-world impact we're talking about.
So to really get how we arrived here, we've got to talk about two very important terms. The first one is the one you already know, the Internet of Things, or IoT. But the second is its older and I'd argue more foundational predecessor, machine-to-machine, or M2M. They sound super similar, and yeah, they get mixed up all the time, but they really represent two totally different steps in this technological evolution.
Kevin Ashton, he's the guy who actually came up with the name Internet of Things. He put it perfectly. He said computers used to be brains without senses. They only knew what we physically typed in. The revolution of IoT, the real game changer, is that it gives computers senses. It gives them eyes and ears and a way to feel the world so they can gather information all by themselves.
Now, this whole idea has been cooking for a while. The name itself popped up way back in 1999, but for years, it was really just a concept. It wasn't until around 2008 or so that the technology finally caught up, and that's when things really started to take off. And just a few years after that, the growth was so explosive that the industry had to step in and create global standards just to keep the whole thing from becoming a total mess.
Okay, so let's start with the OG, M2M, or machine to machine. The best way to think about it is like a private phone call, a direct line. It is strictly point-to-point. One sensor reports to one server. A credit card machine talks only to the bank's network. It's a totally closed loop built to do one specific job, and that's it. And then there's IoT. The big word here, network. IoT takes that M2M concept and just blows it up. It's not just two devices talking anymore. We're talking about a huge web of devices, all hooked up through the internet, all sharing data not just with each other, but with bigger systems, with apps, with the cloud. In fact, some people actually think of IoT as just a really big and evolved version of M2M.
So what was the magic sauce? What allowed for this massive jump from simple M2M to the incredible scale of IoT? Well, it wasn't just one thing. It was actually a bunch of powerful technologies that all kind of grew up at the same time and came together perfectly. Let's see what they are.
Yeah, think of it like baking a cake. First, you need your ingredients. That's all the data that gets collected by these wireless sensor networks. Then you need a giant kitchen to handle it all, and that's the massive scalable power of cloud computing. To make sense of it all, you need a master chef, and that's big data analytics to find all the important patterns. And the whole thing is held together by a common language, these communication protocols, running on tiny, powerful computers called embedded systems that are tucked away inside every single device. Okay, we've got the definitions, we've got the tech. Now it's time for the main event. Let's put them head-to-head and really break down what separates M2M from IoT.
This is it, the crucial question. If my washing machine can send me an alert using M2M, and an IoT washing machine can also send an alert, what's really the difference? The secret, it turns out, isn't in what they do, it's all about how they do it.
Let's just look at this side by side. Communication with M2M, it's like a direct point-to-point phone call. Super simple. But IoT, that's a massive cloud-based conference call where everybody can talk to everybody else. And because of that, M2M's ability to grow is pretty limited, while IoT is built to scale up like crazy. It's the same with the data. M2M is like getting a simple text alert. IoT takes that same data and plugs it into a whole bunch of different apps, making it way smarter and way more useful.
Okay, so knowing the difference is one thing, but actually using that knowledge, that's the real key. This isn't about which one is better. It's about picking the right tool for the right job. So let's look at when you'd probably want to stick with M2M and when it makes sense to make the jump to IoT. You know, M2M is still the absolute king in some situations. If all you need is a super reliable, simple, point-to-point link, like a single piece of factory equipment sending out a service alert, M2M is perfect. If you need it to run where there's no Wi-Fi, or maybe you need that network to be totally walled off for security reasons, M2M is the way to go.
But if you're trying to build, say, a smart home where your thermostat and your lights and your security camera all need to be in constant sync in real time, you're going to need IoT. If you're planning to add hundreds, maybe thousands of new devices down the line, you need that easy scalability that only an IoT cloud platform can give you. It really just comes down to complexity, scale, and how much you need things to talk to each other. So it's pretty clear the future is all about IoT. But, connecting billions and eventually trillions of things, well, that brings a whole new set of gigantic challenges that we've got to figure out. And with all this amazing connectivity, you get some huge headaches. First, the sheer scale of it all is just mind-blowing. And every new device you add, that's another potential door for security and privacy risks. And then you have all that data. It's like a tidal wave. How do you even begin to analyze it? But maybe the biggest technical problem of all, it's something called interoperability. So what's interoperability? It's basically the challenge of getting a device from company A to speak the same language as a device from company B. And people are working on this, big time. There are major efforts like One M2M. It's this global partnership that's basically trying to build a universal translator for IoT, a common platform so all these different gadgets can just work together, no problem. And that really leaves us with one last big thought. As we get better and better at solving all the technical problems, connecting everything to everything else, we run into a whole new kind of question. With billions of new sensors out there, gathering data on our world, on our lives, is the biggest challenge we face really a technical one? Or is it maybe a human one?